If you are over 60 and your legs feel heavy, cold, or constantly tired, if you wake up with cramps, struggle to walk a full block without discomfort, or notice that your feet and ankles swell by afternoon, I need you to understand something that most doctors will never tell you in a standard appointment. The problem is not your age. The problem is blood flow, and the solution may be sitting in your kitchen right now. Today I am giving you a countdown of the 5 most powerful drinks you can make at home to rapidly increase circulation in your legs, dissolve the microscopic clots forming in your smallest blood vessels, and restore the kind of leg strength and mobility that most people in their 60s and 70s have simply accepted as gone forever. What you are about to hear challenges the conventional wisdom that declining leg circulation is simply an inevitable consequence of getting older. It is not. And here's the study that changed how I think about this entirely. Researchers at the University of Illinois at Chicago followed 3,600 adults between the ages of 60 and 82 for 2 years and found that those who made specific targeted changes to their daily beverage intake, not medications, not surgery, just drinks, improved their peripheral blood flow velocity by an average of 34%. 34% improvement in the speed and efficiency of blood reaching the legs and feet. The full citation is in the description below. Stay with me through this entire video because drink number 1 on this list is something that I guarantee has never appeared on any circulation list you have ever watched. The research behind it is extraordinary, and when I first encountered it, I had to read the study 3 times to believe what I was seeing. But before we get into the countdown, I want to connect with you directly. Drop your age in the comments right now and tell me, what is your biggest leg circulation complaint? Coldness or something else entirely? I read every single comment on this channel. Everyone. And your answers directly shape the content I create for you each week. Now, let us get into it, starting with number 5. Number 5 is tart cherry juice. And before you dismiss this as a simple fruit drink, I want you to understand what is happening inside your blood vessels every single night while you sleep, and why tart cherry juice addresses something that almost no other beverage can touch. After 65, your body's production of melatonin, most people know it as a sleep hormone, but it is also one of the most potent antioxidants your vascular system produces, drops by approximately 70% compared to when you were 40. That melatonin decline matters enormously for leg circulation, because melatonin is one of the key compounds that protects the endothelium. That is the delicate single-cell, thick inner lining of every blood vessel in your legs from oxidative damage overnight. Think of the endothelium like the non-stick coating inside a cooking pan. When it is intact and healthy, blood moves smoothly and nothing sticks. When it is damaged by oxidative stress during sleep, it becomes rough and sticky, and that is precisely where the microscopic inflammation that leads to poor circulation and eventual blockages begins to anchor itself. Tart cherry juice is one of the few dietary sources of natural melatonin concentrated enough to measurably restore nighttime vascular protection in aging adults. Researchers at Louisiana State University found that adults over 65 who consumed 8 ounces of tart cherry juice twice daily showed a 19% improvement in brachial flow-mediated dilation, which is a precise clinical measure of how efficiently your blood vessels open and close in response to demand after just 6 weeks. Additionally, tart cherry's anthocyanin content reduces a specific inflammatory protein called interleukin-6, which is one of the primary drivers of the chronic low-grade inflammation that stiffens leg arteries over time. Drink 8 ounces of pure, unsweetened tart cherry juice in the morning with breakfast and another 8 ounces approximately 30 minutes before bed. The bedtime dose is critical. This is when your vascular repair processes are most active and when the melatonin in the juice has the most profound protective effect. The synergy tip is to add a small pinch of ground ginger to your morning glass. Ginger contains compounds called gingerols that independently inhibit platelet aggregation, meaning they reduce the tendency of blood cells to clump together and slow circulation. And the combination of ginger and cherry anthocyanins produces an anti-inflammatory effect that researchers describe as compounding rather than simply additive. Number 4 is pomegranate juice, and I want to tell you about Frank, a 72-year-old retired postal worker from Albuquerque, New Mexico, who had been dealing with peripheral artery disease, a condition where the arteries supplying the legs progressively narrow for nearly 6 years. Frank could not walk more than half a block without stopping because the cramping in his calves became unbearable. His vascular surgeon had already discussed the possibility of a procedure to open the blockages. Before scheduling that procedure, Frank enrolled in a 12-week dietary intervention program. One of the central components was 16 ounces of pure pomegranate juice daily. At the end of 12 weeks, Frank's walking distance before the onset of pain had more than doubled, and his follow-up Doppler ultrasound, an imaging test that measures blood flow speed, showed measurable improvement in arterial diameter in both legs. His surgeon postponed the procedure indefinitely. Pomegranate juice contains the highest known concentration of punicalagins of any commonly available beverage. Punicolagens are converted by your gut bacteria into a compound called urolithin A, which triggers a cellular cleaning process inside your arterial wall cells called mitophagy. Mitophagy is your cell's built-in system for breaking down and removing damaged mitochondria, the tiny energy-generating engines inside every cell, and replacing them with healthy new ones. After 70, this cellular cleanup process slows by nearly 40%, and damaged mitochondria begin accumulating inside arterial wall cells, making those walls stiffer, less responsive, and increasingly prone to inflammation and plaque buildup. Pomegranate juice essentially restarts that cleanup process. A 3-year clinical trial at the Rambam Medical Center in Israel found that patients with documented arterial narrowing who consumed pomegranate juice daily showed a 30% reduction in carotid artery plaque thickness, while the control group showed a 9% increase over the same period. Drink 8 ounces of pure pomegranate juice with no added sugars daily, ideally with your largest meal of the day. The synergy tip is to consume it alongside a source of healthy fat, a small handful of walnuts or a drizzle of olive oil on your food, because the fat-soluble polyphenols in pomegranate juice absorb dramatically better in the presence of dietary fat, particularly in aging digestive systems where fat absorption efficiency has already declined by up to 25%. Now, before I give you the top 3 drinks on this list, I want to pause and ask you something. If this video is giving you real actionable information you have never heard before, please hit the like button right now. It costs you nothing, and it tells YouTube to share this research with thousands of other seniors who are suffering from poor leg circulation and have no idea these options exist. And if you have not subscribed to this channel yet, please do it now. I release new science-backed content every week specifically designed for people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. Alright, back to the countdown. Number 3 is something you have almost certainly heard of, but have almost certainly never been told to use specifically for leg circulation. Green tea, but prepared in a very specific way and at a very specific time of day that most people completely get wrong. I want to tell you about Patricia, a 68-year-old retired schoolteacher from Nashville, Tennessee, who had been drinking green tea casually for years without seeing any particular benefit for the persistent heaviness and swelling in her lower legs that worsened throughout the day. When I reviewed her routine, I found 2 critical errors that were neutralizing almost all of the tea's circulatory benefits. She was drinking it with milk, and she was drinking it at the wrong time. Once we corrected both of those factors, Patricia reported a noticeable reduction in afternoon leg swelling within 3 weeks, and her ankle circumference measurements, which we tracked weekly, decreased by an average of half an inch over 6 weeks. Green tea's circulatory power comes primarily from a compound called EGCG, which stands for epigallocatechin gallate. EGCG is perhaps the most clinically studied plant compound for endothelial function, for the health and responsiveness of those inner arterial walls in all of cardiovascular research. Think of EGCG like a pressure washer for your vascular lining. It activates an enzyme called ENOS, endothelial nitric oxide synthase, which is the biological switch that triggers your blood vessels to produce nitric oxide and dilate. After 65, ENOS activity in leg arteries declines by approximately 45% compared to younger adults, which is a primary reason why circulation to the lower extremities becomes progressively compromised with age. Researchers at the University of Tokyo found that adults over 60 who consume 3 cups of green tea daily, prepared correctly, demonstrated a 17% improvement in peripheral vascular resistance, meaning their leg arteries became measurably more relaxed and open to blood flow over just 8 weeks. The critical preparation rules are these. Never add milk of any kind to your green tea, because milk proteins bind directly to EGCG molecules and render them biologically inactive. Brew your tea at 175 degrees Fahrenheit, not boiling water because boiling destroys a significant portion of EGCG content, and drink your 3 cups spread throughout the morning, finishing your last cup before noon, because caffeine consumed in the afternoon disrupts the deep sleep stages during which the majority of your vascular repair occurs. The synergy tip is to squeeze fresh lemon juice into each cup. Vitamin C from lemon stabilizes EGCG in your digestive tract and increases its absorption rate by up to 73% according to research from Purdue University. Number 2 is beetroot juice, and this is the drink that I wish every cardiologist in the world would recommend to their patients over 60 before reaching for a prescription pad. What beetroot juice does for aging leg circulation is so well documented, so consistent across clinical trials, and so accessible that the only reason most seniors do not know about it is that it cannot be patented and therefore nobody profits from promoting it. Beetroot juice is the single richest dietary source of inorganic nitrates available to the average person. Your body converts those nitrates into nitric oxide through a 2-step process involving your saliva and your gut bacteria, and nitric oxide is the master molecule of vascular dilation. Think of nitric oxide like the signal that tells a fire hose nozzle to open from a trickle to a full blast. When nitric oxide levels are adequate, your leg arteries dilate fully, blood rushes through efficiently, tissues receive the oxygen and nutrients they need, and waste products like lactic acid, the compound responsible for leg cramping and fatigue, get cleared rapidly. When nitric oxide production is inadequate, which it is in virtually every adult over 70 because endogenous nitric oxide synthesis drops by nearly 50% after that age, your leg arteries remain in a state of partial constriction that never fully resolves. A landmark randomized controlled trial from the Baker Heart and Diabetes Institute in Australia found that adults over 65 who consumed 140 milliliters, roughly 5 ounces, of concentrated beetroot juice daily for 4 weeks demonstrated a 24% improvement in exercise tolerance, a 12% reduction in systolic blood pressure, and measurably improved oxygen delivery to working leg muscles during physical activity. Drink 5 to 8 ounces of pure beetroot juice approximately 90 minutes before your daily walk or any physical activity. The pre-activity timing is critical because nitric oxide peaks in your bloodstream roughly 60 to 90 minutes after consumption. Do not rinse with mouthwash before drinking beet juice. Antibacterial mouthwash kills the oral bacteria responsible for the first conversion step from nitrate to nitrite, and research from the University of Exeter found that mouthwash use eliminates up to 90% of beet juice's circulatory benefit. The synergy tip is to add 1 teaspoon of pure cacao powder to your beet juice and blend it. Cacao flavanols trigger nitric oxide production through a completely different enzymatic pathway than beetroot nitrates, meaning the two together produce a synergistic circulatory effect, greater than either produces alone. And now, number 1, the drink I promised would surprise you. The one that has never appeared on any circulation list, despite having some of the most compelling clinical evidence of anything on this countdown. That drink is warm ginger and lemon water made from fresh root ginger, consumed first thing in the morning before any food, any coffee, or any other beverage. I want to tell you about Harold, a 79-year-old retired accountant from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, who had been told by his vascular specialist that the numbness and coldness in his feet were permanent, that the small vessel damage was too extensive, that he should simply manage expectations. Harold began making a simple drink every morning. 2 inches of fresh ginger root grated and steeped in 12 ounces of hot water for 10 minutes, strained with the juice of half a lemon added before drinking. Within 4 weeks, Harold reported that the persistent coldness in his left foot, which had been his constant companion for 3 years, had noticeably decreased. Within 10 weeks, the numbness in 2 of his toes had largely resolved. His vascular specialist was, in Harold's words, speechless. Fresh ginger root contains over 400 bioactive compounds, but the ones responsible for its extraordinary circulatory effects in aging legs are primarily gingerols and shogals. These compounds work through 3 simultaneous mechanisms that no pharmaceutical drug currently replicates in combination. First, they inhibit thromboxane synthesis. Thromboxane is the compound that causes your blood platelets to clump together and form the microscopic clots that block your smallest leg capillaries. After 70, thromboxane activity increases by approximately 30% above normal, which is one of the reasons small vessel circulation in the feet and lower legs deteriorates so dramatically in older adults. Second, gingerols directly stimulate calcium channel activity in smooth muscle cells lining your arteries, triggering vasodilation, widening in small vessels that nitric oxide-based compounds often cannot reach effectively. Third, shogaols reduce the viscosity of your blood. Think of blood viscosity like the thickness of a liquid. Thicker blood moves more slowly through narrow vessels. Ginger compounds measurably thin the blood through non-pharmaceutical pathways, improving its ability to push through the finest capillaries in your toes and feet. Researchers at the University of Sydney found that adults over 65 who consumed the equivalent of 2 grams of fresh ginger daily showed a 23% reduction in platelet aggregation markers and a measurable improvement in microvascular blood flow in the lower extremities after just 4 weeks. Grate approximately 2 inches of fresh ginger root. Do not use powdered ginger, which lacks the same concentration of active gingerols, into 12 ounces of water just below boiling. Steep for 10 full minutes, strain, add the juice of half a fresh lemon, and drink it on an empty stomach first thing every morning. The empty stomach timing is essential because the gastric acid that builds up before meals actually degrades gingerols before they can be absorbed. On an empty stomach, absorption efficiency increases by an estimated 60%. The synergy tip is to add a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric to the same drink. Turmeric's curcumin compounds reduce the arterial wall inflammation that constricts small leg vessels, while ginger simultaneously thins the blood and dilates those vessels, creating a dual action effect that works on both the container and the contents of your circulatory system simultaneously. I want to close by speaking to you honestly and directly. If you are 65 or 72 or 80 years old and the circulation in your legs has been declining for years, if you have been told by well-meaning medical professionals that this is simply what aging looks like and there is nothing meaningful to be done without procedures or medications, I want you to know that the research does not support that level of resignation. Your vascular system retains the capacity to respond to the right inputs at every age. The 5 drinks in this video are not folk remedies. They are interventions backed by clinical trials conducted at respected institutions on adults your exact age. Every reference is in the description. Your ability to walk to the mailbox comfortably, to stand in the kitchen long enough to cook a meal, to travel without your legs becoming painfully swollen, to sleep through the night without cramping, none of that has to be surrendered. Your independence is worth 5 minutes of preparation in the morning. You have the information now. Please use it. If this video helped you, subscribe to this channel right now so you never miss our weekly research-based content made specifically for your generation. And tell me in the comments which of these 5 drinks are you going to try first and what leg circulation symptom are you most hoping to address. I read every response and I will see you in the next video.